like we eat late. We like
fried
shit.
food.
Yeah, we like all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? And there's no boundaries. And so I had to create boundaries for myself with eating things like bread and pasta and rice and things that compartmentalize, that compound in your body. You know what I'm saying? That don't just, like I'm on a heavy salad diet now. You know what I mean? So I eat salads every day. That's literally like at some point in the day, I'm eating a salad. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, and I don't eat cereal or none of that shit for breakfast no more. Every now and then I treat myself to maybe like a waffle or something, but I haven't eaten cereal since 2020.
You look great. Your health has improved immensely.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I'm blessed.
Thank God.
You know what? When he reminded me, when he walked in the room, it gave me flashbacks of back in 09, I think 09 or 08, KRS-One came to my studio in the Bronx. Same studio where the mother of his child used to do her first podcast, right? And it was a radio show back then. And he walked in with a slice of pizza in his mouth, no security, no nothing. And me and DJ Bedtime was there, which is Remy Ma's DJ. And he surprised me because KRS-One is my guy. And he was like, I'm looking at the door like, you're just not going to let me know? I'm producing the show. So I was like, when he walked in just now without you, I'm just like, oh, he know where he was going at. But I guess you met him out in the hallway. So that was dope. Right. So I want you to just reintroduce who we got, because I want to make sure that we got that locked in. So give him his flower. Yeah, go ahead. Are you ready to is it my time now? Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome to the Matrix Studio production, Hip Hop Unpacked, with host David Lopez and the Pioneer Podcast.
Who's David Lopez?
In New York City.
Yours truly?
That's me, yours truly. Okay. Shall I start again?
Nah, you good. You good.
On Hip Hop, where we unpack artists' music and find out what sparks their creativity. The Matrix Studio is honored to have a decorated artist and one of the most successful songwriters of our era. He was on the Tribe Called Quest Beats, Life, and Rhymes album in 1996, where he had a standout performance on the hit single Stressed Out, featuring Faith Evans, and has collaborated with everyone from Kanye West, Beyonce, Busta Rhymes, Chuck D, and his son, Caden the Crown Holder.
Shout out to Caden.
Yo.
Yeah. He just dropped the studio album, Nice Doing Business Too, and we're here to talk about it. Give it up for Consequence.
Yeah, so speaking of the Stressed Out joint, like that's one of my favorite songs, and I never put it together that when I started listening to the new music, I'm like, wait a minute, that's Khan's on that joint. And I'm like, okay, that's obviously we got
first baby,
the first one, right?
Yeah, that's the first one.
So give me that experience coming from Queens. Obviously, Tip is your cousin, so that was the cheat code at that time. But I'm sure you had to still put in work to get there.
Well, that's a misconception that it was a cheat code, because I literally had a deal on the table with Bad Boy and shit. That's how I wound up in Tribe. So the misconception is that the only reason I got on was because being with because Q-Tip was family, but I was putting in guerrilla time. Like I had a battle with Run on 192 and shit, and we really was putting in hours and hours and hours of shit. Like I had already got my own. I had cut like a demo back then with Dino DeValier. Dino DeValier was the person who got Baby to 30 million from Universal and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of things happening, but I fortunately I did land with Tribe, and I was on 8 songs on Beach Round of Life, and Stressed Out was a hit single off of there, man. So she was a home out the gate. So,
and that's interesting that he said that, because it's a lot of people that don't know what goes on behind the scene, and they just assume things. Right. And sometimes I, as an interviewer, I say things that I might not know just so that it can be cleared up, because a lot of things happen in this industry, and you see things happen and people just assume, especially now with the internet. It's ridiculous. Right. And it's important for you to be able to tell your own story. And I'm happy that you did that, because your history is important as well as your present and your future. Right. And if you don't tell your history right, the rest of it could get crazy, right?
Absolutely. And it's important.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask this. I've noticed the evolution of your music. I was listening to Don't Quit Your Day Job and Take Them to the Cleaners album yesterday. Right. And I seen your evolution from an artistry. Sonically, you've done 80% of the production on this album, you said, and then just the content of you talking about mature stuff, grown man stuff, relationship, love. Can you talk about like how you've evolved as an artist with age and your experiences?
Well, I've always been like a student of the game, So I study the game. I study tape. You know what I'm saying? And I think for my peer group, I think the worst thing that you could be or do is try too hard. You know what I'm saying? To where like you trying to fit in and you trying to make songs that you think is gonna, a lot. I've seen it backfire in a lot of people's face where they try to like do what the young guys are doing, the younger guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? I think with hip hop, the number one thing to do is to be you and be where you at in life. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you'll get your flowers and your reward at. You know what I'm saying? I think you trying to invade. Young niggas don't like when you try to invade their space. Like you gotta let that shit ride. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I think it's dope that I'm in a space where I could just be fresh, still teach, don't, ain't out here looking washed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like show young niggas like, nah, you can become older and still, 1-2 out here. You know what I'm saying? Without trying too hard.
Well, your fan base has evolved too. We're getting older too. So to hear you talk about different things, commercial stuff, whatever it was when you were in your 20s and 30s as you evolve, but it was satisfying to hear you talk about, show your vulnerable side.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean, I think it's important. I mean, because whether we want to take ownership of it or not, you spending a lot of time with the youth inadvertently anyway, or just spending time with your peer group, just especially for men, like we don't have a lot of men speaking to where we are, you know what I'm saying, and what we're going through, you know what I'm saying. That's why the relationship advice record, I love it. It's because it's just some real talk to the fellas for 2 seconds about how this shit be going, like, you know what I mean? That's why I love Chris Rock.
Let's get into that. Talk about the album. Let's talk about some track. Relationship advice with Chris Rock.
Relationship advice is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even the way I got it and everything was just a blessing or whatever. And I think it's one of the more age appropriate records for my peer group. You know what I'm saying? Most baby mothers in court are undefeated. Raise your hand if you've been caught cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's half my niggas. You know what I mean? Half my niggas done, found theyself talking to a lawyer, talking to a judge, working out a settlement, all that shit. You know what I mean? And what's crazy about that shit is that I don't think none of us ever had our fathers talk to us about the potential of that happening. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons I felt the need to make the record, because it was just like shit that I know niggas need to hear.
So can I say, especially as a father, you only have one kid?
One.
Just your son, Caden, right? Caden, shout out to Caden. And how old is he now? 13. My son is 13, so that's why the connection was even more. Because when that was happening with you, I had a son in Canada. And they the same kid, mixed kids, and same type of scenario, almost to the T. So, but being a father and raising boys, coming out of that situation and it not being the greatest home situation, but still trying to be present. Right. And when I see you with your son and he's performing on top of the table and I'm just like, I can only see myself. And my son, he's not into this, but he's into ball and games and all that same type of thing.
His son gets 30.
So my son, he's crazy with it. But what I look at now is that you just made a point that the guys, that we didn't have that. And I had my father, but he used crack. Like my father and my mother used drugs. And, but my father was still there up until 2020, he passed away. So you say he had a hard 2020. That was what my 2020s during the pandemic. So now going forward, like how's that transition being in the industry, bringing your son along and still being a father and showing him the ropes? So
well, I mean, my first as far as the totem pole is concerned is dad first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that I know that I know the importance that holds. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you could run around with me and be in a game and, like you said, go to Hot 97, jump on the tables and all that. But, I need my son to be a well-rounded individual in society. You know what I'm saying? I need him to understand the value of who he is. You know what I'm saying? As my son, first and foremost. So, that part is like you said, when you in a situation where it's a 2-parent home. My thing is to always make him know beyond a shadow of a doubt that daddy's here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's my gift to him. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate hearing that, and especially hearing the lyrics, like hearing like how you come at songs and what your perspective is, and knowing that the game is trash right now. So when there's someone like you that's out here showing your son, being in his life, but still doing your career, so you showing work-life balance, I think that's special. It's necessary, and it's part of the production that we've been seeing, that it kind of ties it all in. I don't know if he was just doing that and didn't have a son, if it would hit the same that it does with him being there.
Yeah,
and going for the
definitely. I mean, that's why he got credited for the A&R.
Oh, that's
you know
dope.
what I'm saying?
Fire.
On the credits, I gave him credit for being an A&R of the album. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't have made it without him.
Right.
Fire.
You know what I mean? And literally, I'm going. He my go-to. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a unique experience.
I love that. Like, the album is full of messages, and after the second listen, the production is just amazing. Congratulations to you. You made all that, and it used a lot of live instruments as well. I heard you talk about.
Yeah.
You just connected that with a band or orchestra,
just putting the ensemble together and shit. Niggas that I fuck with, and just literally. I mean, it's just
I'm back. Yeah, my bad.
The end all be all is just the sitting there. It's the focus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your production's fire. I'm assuming you learned a lot from Ye and Q-Tip over the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I saw the Instagram post that your cousin put that you shared today.
Yeah.
You almost teared up. And I love when rappers, because we hip hop is all tough, machismo. I love when you showed your vulnerable side, because you was a young shorty with the Tribe, and you was in the studio, and you probably looked up, admired him, and gave you your props.
Yeah, just I mean, I literally, he taught me how to count bars. You know what I'm saying? I was rapping, just coming up with shit. So he definitely taught me song structure, and it was challenging. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like when you play in a park, the only thing you got on your mind is cracking a nigga.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And breaking nigga ankles and all that shit, and scoring. But there's no plays with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just you just hooping and
just
shit.
Out, right.
Yeah, you just catching wreck and shit. And then but when you trying to get to the league or be like a songwriter and win like that requires a play, that requires coaching and shit.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it meant a lot, because that was like Coach K basically telling me like, yo, oh, you got the chip.
Full circle moment.
I mean? Yeah. So, that's why I just say, and that's why I said things that means a lot, because it does. You know what I mean? It's not like,
Shout out to Q-Tip.
Yeah,
brother.
So, and let's just give a big shout out to rest in peace to Phife Dawg, because I got a chance before he passed away to host his radio show at that same studio. He was Phife the Gambler, and with my man Gambler, and they would do the sports show. And the last segment that I have recorded, I have audio recorded. Buster called in, and Chris Lighty called in. So all of them was on the phone talking about sports and the music and all that. And I got that footage. I remember when he passed away, and Hot 97 Street Soldiers, they wanted to use that segment for that. So I got a chance to be, unfortunately, a part of that. He came through a couple of times. He came in the studio, and then he was doing the show from, I think, Atlanta, where he was at. Okay. Don't worry about that. That's a fan.
Let's do a deeper dive into this album. He just dropped his album, Nice Doing Business With You. Mm-hmm. Let's do a deeper dive into the music. Let's talk about Overdose. He got a video out for that, fire video.
Right, we just heard the song. You asked me, does it sound triggering? So I guess now he's here, we can ask what was going through in his mindset to create a song like that. And do you find that people were triggered by the song as of yet?
Yeah, I definitely think a couple people was it's just my sister was like, yo, this. She said she was in the car crying listening to it. Cause we lived it. We grew up in the crack era. You know what I'm saying? So we literally watched people we love turn into zombies. You know what I'm saying? And so that's from the past, but then even bringing it up to date, just with the amount of like we just lost Rich Homie Quan to fentanyl overdose. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that continues to plague the black community. The hip hop community, the urban community.
Let me ask you this. Let's have a real conversation. So my mother, like I seen my mother and father, throw their life away, in the 80s to the crack cocaine. And obviously nobody knew what it was going to happen.
Right.
But what do you think when people hear somebody die of fentanyl and then they still go behind them and they try it out? Like, do you feel like people is getting slipped into their drugs, or you think they're still doing it knowing that I can probably die from this? I don't expect you to have this answer, but I just want to know if you think about it.
I just think that every generation think they could beat the game.
Right. It can't happen to them.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I think the only generation that wasn't aware of the game, like you said, like your parents, like when it went from like the transition of
heroin and
right, exactly. So you see where I'm going with it. Like literally, like that shit, like crack was something that crackers was a monster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like one hit it quit. Like that's it. Like one hit and you in.
One hit and you not getting out. You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers up until then kind of felt like, I got it.
Right.
That shit is the book.
So I have a question that I'd ask, and you're a conscious brother. Obviously, look, this we know what your name is. Do you think the race? No, how am I gonna say this? After slavery, do you think slavery did black people? If we had slavery without the crack era, do you think we would have rebounded from slavery without the crack era, or do you think the crack era was worse than slavery, like in terms of what it did to us, like after? The after effect of it, of each one.
I think the psychological damage of being considered less than did it to niggas.
Right.
And not every nigga went through it, but a lot of niggas went through it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just, from being called a Nigger, nigger is like, it was so much emphasis put on that shit. The technology in the 60s and the 50s was a living, breathing thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was just hard for black people to we still go through that shit. It's still motherfuckers that fold the pressure because of the internal feeling of not being good enough to be great. You know what I'm saying? And so the temptation to quit that's how you end up being an addict. You know what I'm saying? Because it starts with wanting to escape. You know what I'm saying?
From your reality.
You know what I mean? And so that's why the chorus is overdose. We can start fresh in the morning, long as we don't overdose. Overdose. Ooh, if I shut down before I wake, I pray the Lord the drugs I take and maybe lose every crown I play. Maybe, you know what I mean? It's really just speaking to the fact that as long as we don't redline, we still got a chance though.
Right.
Because even with slavery and all those things that have been thrown at us, we've been able to make ingenuity of the struggle. That's why we have hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was basically a byproduct of pain. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why all my music be having like a inclination of pain to it, because it's part of the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like without the corner, there's no substitute for the corner in my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm from the curb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of feel like if they could have gave us something else that didn't kill off our people to make money and hustle like that, and we can, possibly still go to jail or kill each other. But it wasn't.
That's not going to be the intent.
Right.
That's not. Nobody's going to give you a soft version of die.
Right.
No, nigga, die. Don't get up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so the unfortunate reality is that, we got a lot of unfortunate realities when you think about African Americans and the slave trade and the Caribbean and everything and Hispanics. Because the thing is this, like, whatever deal got made, nobody came to get nobody on the strength.
We was on the other side of it. They just let us.
Niggas got brought over, and whoever got paid, deal with. Like, like sometimes I question about Africans, like Africans that are from Africa, like so you mean to tell me that there was nobody who was like, where the fuck did my cousin go?
Right. Could you imagine? Right. That's the movie those are the movies we should be making.
And I ain't coming to get them.
Right. Those are the movies that we should be making about what should have happened. So
obviously something happened to where it was like, nah, you go ahead with that. Yeah.
And that's why I think we discard each other now, and we're willing to take each other's head off.
Right.
Because it's just that's like in us.
Embodied.
Like
it's an embed code.
Well, not too much on we either, because I think we're on the other side of that we still trying to figure out how we could not be and not end up like that. But at the end of the day, it happened and it's still happening.
Right.
I mean, this album was full of content. Y'all talking about Overdose featuring Y Melly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were just vibing earlier to Free the Guys, and it made us think of mass incarceration. It kind of gave me like that Nas One Love.
Yeah, and you asked me a crazy question. Do I know anybody that was ever locked up? I know half the guys I came up with in the Bronx has been locked up. I was locked up for 7 days in Spofford at the age of 15, so I know what it is to be locked up.
Right.
So it's like an anthem, like a One Love anthem, like Free the Guys.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a chronological experience of my interaction with jail and prison. You know what I'm saying?
Did you do a lot of time? I don't know the history.
I actually never did time, but it's my interaction. Oh,
just interaction. I got
my family and my friends. You know what I'm saying? That's why I start off telling stories like this. Sometimes make me cry. My uncles were bank robbers in '85. Slim ran numbers till he was 85. Lele went in when I was maybe 9.
Right.
And Derek caught that body around 89. Gillette razors couldn't shave his time. That lawyer that he paid for was a waste of time. Crazy times growing up. Yeah, Big was right about the dead body showing up, but let the part out where homicide be showing up. Send chills down your spine when they rolling up. You see the bullpens, one thing, Rikers is another. Running from the blue and whites in the undercovers, fighting for your life right before the judges. I can't wait till we saying welcome home, beloved.
Listen, you only get this realness on the Unpack with David Lopez right here. We unpacking it right now. And this is real talk right here. That
was my childhood, and then the second verse is when I got older, I started seeing my own friends go to jail.
Right.
Like the first verse is about the older people in my life.
So, all right, let me ask you this: what's the cutoff? I'm 49, right? So you right behind me with that, right? So what is the cutoff that you feel like that the guys got it together that they don't do too much jail time no more? What age do you feel like you've seen less of the guys you came up with still dealing with going to jail?
I said my man Bay Lloyd got 85 years.
Oh no, see, those are the football. Those are the big. I'm saying like in and out, and then at some point they just be like, all right, I'm 8.
See, it's different. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that situation with Bay Lloyd is my man. Bay Lloyd is Bay Swag father.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we came up in the tribe and all that, and he got caught up in 40. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this shit is like, you gotta watch it to the grave, bro. That's where how real shit is.
Oh, he got caught at 40, at the age of 40.
I'm telling you, he gave him 85 years at 40 something. You know what I mean? That's like, you know what I mean?
Life sentence.
Yeah, it's nothing to make light of. It's shit's crazy, yo. You know what I mean? I think he appealed and it got it reduced to 65, but all right, 65.
Right. 65 is like the age almost where we're going to be out of here regular.
46. You're right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So shit's real. Very much so.
Free the guys.
This is like a Barbara Walters special right here with you, Dave.
I wanted to actually,
I thought we was gonna be up here shucking and jiving a little bit.
Unpacked. This is good. The lyrics. Hearing you recite those lyrics on Free the Guys, not for nothing. Like this must be cathartic, like therapeutic for you to like to describe, you know, what you experience.
I mean, most of my music come from a real place. You know what I'm saying? And you know, obviously you got to put it together so it could be digested by people. But yeah, that shit is, I lived it. You know what I'm saying? And so the best thing for me to do, I mean, and it's a compliment that you feel like it's like a one love or something, because, well, I didn't intend to make it that. I just intended it to have that stream of consciousness. You feel me?
Where I felt it. It's a connection with the people that are locked up. Free the guys. Same thing I felt with One Love. It was so personal. He was connecting to the people that are that are locked behind the cell, and we connected them, let them know that you still got love for them. And I feel like that's what you were doing. You were making that connection. So I definitely felt that.
So all right, let's get into what's going on in the industry right now, because there's a lot going on. I'm not gonna name no names. I'm just gonna speak to how do you feel as the artist that you are, getting as far as you are, and now looking at how things are unfolding for certain people. Like, how does that make you feel as an artist that's still trying to put out music and still trying to move? What is the industry like now? Give us a scope of from the inside looking out, like what it is. Because I heard a song and it almost sounds like you're in the industry, but you don't really consider yourself to be like.
What song is that?
Oh, damn, what the hell was it? Because you was just
off the new album.
We just heard it. It was one of the ones that we just heard.
I Love You So.
You got so many things.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, because I heard a few of them for the first time, but your reference points was just like shit. Like the way that things is going is not like, it's not like what it should be, but you still hear like almost like they don't want you to be there type of thing. I forgot what the lyric was.
Probably Love You So.
Yeah,
Love You So.
But yeah, but you can just give me what you think.
I mean, Love You So is just me. Really, speaking on my experiences in the game, and I done seen some shit. You know what I mean? I seen Jay-Z call Mos Def mommy with threats. Naomi said, "Shine your light and get the scope." I thought I'd take that to my grave, avoid the problem in life. When we see Spunk get robbed by, pew! And Mad Fingers never get a job, but he white. And have Silver, you accuse you of sabotage over we love, we fight. How could you sleep tight? No one, pew! It's the sneak type to have Young Buck meet up with Mitch Dudley, knowing if Fifth found out, man, it's gonna get ugly. Wow. But that's what happened when schemes backfire, take a turn for the worse. Broken jaw, busted lip, they have to turn to the nurse, or God forbid, 9 cars follow a hearse. Sometimes I wish Big ain't never go to Cali. They caught him slipping like Brandon in the bowling alley. Such an unexpected ending to the show's finale. Yet the show must go on. But for me, while everybody got their roll on, I was too busy trying to figure out why they got stop and goes and the hold ons. I mean, come on, my G. Once I let myself see, that's when I set myself free. That's because I've been in this game. Oh, man. It's on that joint.
Nah, yeah.
So I heard I Love You So, right? And I'm like, are you trying to take like the high road? Because you're talking about all these negative encounters. So you answered my question. You talking about the thing with Cootie and not, you know, including you in the documentary without your consent. Right. The thing with Big's brother Maul, you made a reference to that. Right. You know, that line was clever. You said Big's brother.
My kid brother was Big's brother, so I can line by Big's kid brother.
Yeah, that was fire. I love that, the double triple entendre. So you weren't taking the high road, because I'm thinking that the chorus "Love You So." That's why I love you so. So I love you. So you're talking about all these negative encounters or stuff you encountered, but yeah, the chorus is like, "Oh, I still love you. I still got love for you."
Okay, what else can I do? If I gotta just take it that way. So actually, I mean, it's the high road, but it's just love, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because because if from where I'm from, if it ain't love, it turns into something else.
It's hate. It's hate and violence.
It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song, but there's a lot of stuff that you experience, negative stuff in the lyrics. So like to hear you talk about it, it's
but
fire.
I'm just in a space where I could just say that's why I love you so. You know what I'm saying? Because now we just connected forever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with the Rory and Maul situation, now we'll always be somehow that way connected on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Because of the situations of the back and forth and the dialogue. You know what I mean? So, hey.
So all right, so let's do this before we get into the finale of what we want to promote and market with the project.
Right.
The internet now. The internet is doing what the internet does. And again, I gave you my little intro at the beginning that I've been on the internet since like the beginning of 2000, but I've been producing podcasts and radio since 2005, like consistently every day. That's been my business. And I've seen it go from I seen Spot, Instagram we created. I seen Ustream. I seen YouTube. I seen all these things, WorldStar. All these things happen, and people learned that you can make money off of get attention. You get so money follows attention. So, and you've had your time on the internet where you going back and forth and dealing with this and addressing this. And I see like you as a real person. So like stuff happened. You like, no, I'm not one of these internet dudes. I'm this guy. Like, and I heard you say it a few times to the point where I feel what he's saying. But do you feel like the internet is just the land of make believe and people just do what they do on it and it's frustrating? Knowing what you know now, after going through, let's just say the last 2 years.
I remember when. Yeah,
move close to your mic because I want to hear. I want to hear this.
Definitely. I remember having a conversation with Flex, and him basically giving me that, the same spiel where it's like, it is the land of make believe, and you might be just taking it to this or that and the third. But I'm like, if you a guy like me, you saw Keith Murray and Prodigy have a fight at the tunnel,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know the real ramifications of when niggas disrespect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so in this day, age, and era, it's either shit get to the level of like shit that happens in Memphis, or it is like nigga just fronting on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So, I think for guys like me in particular, I know with me, I've had to police myself.
Right.
I'm getting too emotional. I've had to learn how to deal with that shit and get better at it, because it's a culture shock when somebody disrespect me. I don't come from where you just do that freely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Without no check, without no nothing, without you bitch ass nigga what.
Right.
I don't come from that. I don't kick it off like that. I've never sat here and seen somebody page and like, let me tell this nigga how I feel.
So like, what are your tools that give you more restraint? Like
Lamar's not breathing exercises,
meditation.
Lamar, you said that's
no,
yoga.
Yo, he's crazy.
Yoga, Russell crazy. Legs folded, like
Russell,
shit like
Russell's
that.
in Bali right now. He ain't coming back.
Nah, definitely stay where you at, bro.
Hot over here, like Lennox said, you kind of hot right now. Like,
you feel like that's something to celebrate, like to get able to exercise that maturity and show restraint, so you don't put yourself in a compromising position, right? Because sometimes our anger can get the best of us. It can we can end up locked up, or we could lose money.
I was going to the mosque one day, and I was during Ramadan. So during Ramadan, everybody's fasting on edge, so because they fasting. So it's like your patience is shorter than usual. So I was trying to get in the mosque, and everybody was coming out, and somebody grabbed me. I was like, yo, touch me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Another brother came out, was like, don't use anger. Don't use anger. I never heard nobody say use it.
Right.
And what I realized in that moment was that it's something that you use. I'm so used to abusing anger because I didn't realize it's something that you could use or not use.
Right.
It just automatically comes on when you from the.
It's how you channel it.
I don't even know if it's channeling it. I didn't know that you could turn it off. I really didn't. I really didn't know that it was something that you could say, I'm gonna use it here and I'm not gonna use it here. I never was told that. You know what I'm saying? So in that instance, when the person told me don't use anger, I realized for the rest of this year, like it's actually an active choice. You don't have to get mad. A nigga can say whatever to you. You don't have to get mad. I used to think you had to get mad at certain shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga said that, that's it.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You control your reaction.
Choice.
You control your reaction.
I don't even want to say control because I feel like control still lends to the thinking of out of control.
Right.
I literally, yo man, I like certain shit. Like if my son got punched in the face by somebody, I'm using anger.
Right. Because that's your
if
son, somebody
you love him. Cut me off and I'm headed to the airport, but ain't nothing happened, that's not a reason to use anger. You need to go keep doing what you was doing.
Right. Because shit
is gonna come at you regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's living life. You know what I mean? But in living life, you gotta know when that shit, because sometimes it is time to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the whole thing. But that's why I said, well, like the whole control thing is not, because sometimes it is time to use it.
It's needed.
That's what the Aqua was trying to tell me. This just isn't a time to use it.
Right.
It's there though for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
You only just gonna run outside.
Right.
I got a gun, nigga.
Yeah.
That's not the way you use a pistol.
Right.
A pistol is necessary. Like what happened with Bun B, that requires a pistol.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That's when a pistol is practical to use.
But not during road rage or anything like that.
Right. Nah, nigga, you gonna go to jail fucking around. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Well, that sounds like growth, man. You're able to articulate the progression, maybe where you was at when you were younger to now when you're like, I'm not gonna just jump off the porch. I'm gonna make smarter decisions for my son, my family.
Word.
Peace to that.
All right. So yeah, in summary now, let's get into the album. Let's talk about, you know, where it's at. What's your promo coming up? You got any tours or anything that we need to talk about now, or you know, what's your idea for 2025?
So you know, this is the first of many releases coming from my new label 192 Records. So we have Nice Doing Business With You out on all platforms right now. We got the deluxe version coming in the next 3 weeks. We also have the collaboration album between me and my son. We got that joint coming before the year is out, and then we have the Kate and the Crown Holder solo debut album will be out at the top of next year. So we in a strong music cycle. So it's gonna be a lot, and you know, everything, merchandise, you know, touring, all that's in the works and coming to the surface soon.
How does it feel to have your own label, 192, and not, you know, be independent these days?
It's super beautiful, but last week I probably nodded off 3 times. Like just
dope fiend. just like,
you know what I mean? Just tired as fuck, and they like, you know, just being the CEO and having an intense amount of mental exercise that goes into that shit. I mean, even like with the decision of like the cover was, like I said, it was the one that'd be the deluxe with the original cover, and I've been working for months on that shit. And I sent it to a couple women, and they was like, "It's nice."
It's nice.
I was like, I love it.
Right.
And they're the ones that buy the record, so you got to cater to them.
Right.
It's a glow.
Not making her nipples hard at all. Not. And I know that's not something I should be pushing forward with in light of the cases that are.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I'm just saying. But I'm also an adult, and I just know that certain things, you know, there's a certain level of appeal that comes through attraction. You know what I mean? So when I put the when I had, you know, circulated the other cover, I was like, I had the pictures, and I think this was one of the later choices, but having the conversation with myself and a couple of my guys, I was like, but I'm bypassing my glow up. And I was like, I seen that picture and I was like, that looked like a nigga chilling. You know what I'm saying?
In the Maybach.
Yeah. Like that
life.
shit look like a nigga chilling, and that shit look like a nigga,
You deserve it. After you describe your health situation, everything you endured, you deserve that glow. Now I appreciate it more.
Right. So that's where that shit come into play. And I kind of had to, and I'm a conceptual nigga. Like, I'm not even on the cover of Don't Quit Your Day Job. You know what I'm saying? So I'll sacrifice my personal glorification or whatever just for the sake of the content, the context of the content. You know what I'm saying? But after going through that shit in 2020, I'm like, nah, nigga, I gotta shine on this one. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm happy about that one.
Go ahead, D.
I got 2 more questions. I gotta ask these questions.
Go on. This is your time.
All right. I'm gonna ask one. Do you think it's possible to ever have another Tribe Called Quest album, or it's impossible now that Phife is gone?
I mean, that's more of a Q-tip question.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not really my decision on that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all just, I don't know. I mean, maybe me and Q-Tip might end up doing something in the future, just because.
Or maybe rename it if it's not. I mean, if it's not a Tribe Called Quest album, maybe it's like an extension, maybe with a different name of the group or something like that.
I mean, that's really for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, at this point, I got my own label. I don't, it would have to make sense. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I could see me and Tip maybe actually putting out another record together or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Yeah, I got some shit that I'm supposed to be putting on the collab album with me and Kaden that he did. That shit is fire. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. But I'm not ruling out anything. That's not a rule out at all. It's just kind of putting gravity to the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because those kind of albums is definitely 1 year minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just takes a year to make a good Tribe album. It takes a whole year. It's not going. It's not 2 months.
It's a year of devotion.
It's a year.
Dedication.
You gotta process that shit out, and you know what I'm saying. So that's where it's just like, even if everybody's on board, you really gotta. That's just you just gotta dedicate. You know what I mean? So.
Because there's diehard fans. That's
right. And then the thing is, it's like, and right, because then that's the whole thing. Is just like, without that commitment, that backlash is like, oh, it never goes away, bro.
Yeah, nah. You also just not having even.
You did it right,
and then you would have been all right. You got anything else for the
just about your son, Kaden, the crown holder, very talented. We seen him at the event. Dancing. Is that what they call it? Sturdy when they do that move. Yeah. He dances and he's on a lot of stuff. Which I like. Who shot Jamal? He's on Crazy. What's it? The Chase Part 3.
He's on the Chase Part 3.
He got a video for that in front of Linda 192 Cleaners, just in case. And he's very talented. I'm like, as a father, as somebody who's been in the game close to 30 years or not 30 years, like.
I'm trying to age my guy. Like, you don't have to say his age, like, to make your point.
Listen, I've been getting to it since I've been getting to it since I was a shorty.
Word.
So that 30 ain't like
right. That ain't
I was 30. Like fucking.
That's from 15-30. That's
right.
That's 15-30 like and then 45.
Like 30, it's just started. You know what I mean? With a B-side vinyl or whatever. Nah. But so that 30 is like, I was like, I kind of literally like started almost the same age as Criss Cross type shit.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally came right after the youngsters and shit. You know what I mean? So,
I seen him rapping in front of Nicki Minaj, KRS-One. It's like you setting him up. He's getting that glow of an artist that's already on because your connections and what you said. He dances. You helping him with like writing the songs, or he's creating? He's because you have all the experience.
He's cooking. I mean, obviously, I showed him the ropes. That's what I owed him.
Right.
For him, you know what I mean. I'm really big on passing it.
Like a family business, legacy.
Like, you know what I mean? So while I'm gonna work this hard and be away from him, and then when the time comes where he could actually jump in and be like, nah, nigga, do it yourself, figure it out. That shit is corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm sit here and if I've written for strangers, why wouldn't I lend my expertise to my own kid? You know what I'm saying? That's self-love.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? So but also, I definitely had to teach him how to fly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you also don't want to become dependent on me. What happens if you need to do it yourself?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's been producing and writing on And
they get it. Eventually, they get it.
Yeah,
He's only
click.
13, right?
Yeah.
Imagine him in 10 years if he continues at that pace. It's gonna be a
So
monster.
before we get out, I want to shout out to Queen Jack. She shouts you out. She said you the GOAT.
Hey.
And she brought Tony Rock. Tony Rock came up here. We had DJ Enough the first time. So we were about to be a 1 year anniversary. We had DJ Enough up here, our first show, which was dope. So obviously we've been in the business for 25 years, the Matrix Studios, but this is my first location on Wall Street since last October 31st is when I got into this spot.
Gotcha.
Since the pandemic, I kind of took since my pops passed, I took some time off.
So.
But she came up here and I didn't even know who he was. And after we taking pictures and all that, and then she introduced us, but I didn't really know. And then I seen some documentaries with him talking. I'm like, oh, that's one of the Rock brothers. But he was mad cool, mad cool. You know what I mean? So and I try to explain to Dave, because me and Dave run around the industry and go to events and all that. And people will come to me, oh, DW, how you the GOAT? You did all this. You're the first person to podcast. And I'm like, cool. But the relationships, when we can have conversations with people like you and a CL from DigiWax, and we may see, CL doesn't show up here. They have here Friday. It's people that we jack. Like, we see them, and we've been running through this industry. Pete Rock came up here, and I remember the conversation we had back in '95, sitting at a bar in my hood at the Imrob in the Bronx. So it's to the point now. It's like, how do you keep yourself, as your celebrity, but still as a real person? Because your rhymes are not they're not in a place where people wouldn't feel like they wouldn't want to talk to you when they see you. They're like, yo, he said some real ish. I want to get a picture with him. I want to get, how do you move through the industry nowadays? Social media.
Because I just think for me, I just been in the mix so long that it's just a part of who I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I gotta be a new nigga when I get around certain. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't my bop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be on the shit I be on. You know what I mean? So if a nigga fuck with me, they fuck with me. If they don't, hey nigga, then that's that. You know what I mean? But I'm focused on scoring.
That's it.
Anything
going
else,
to the bucket. You're gonna get the buckets. So put the points on the board. All right, so Dave, you could close it out. You did. This was a great job. I appreciate you, Dave, for again. Like, he books for me, so he books artists, and this one he seen something and said, "Yo, D, I'm gonna get Consequence come up there." Dayton said it's a goal, and I said, "All right, do what you do." I let him figure it all out. I went up and did the mix champ joint with my man Kid New. I ran around all day. I came back. He was like, they on their way. I said, let's get it going, and he did it. It was a great show. Hopefully, you had a good time. You sat here, and you said a lot of cool stuff. We're gonna edit it and put the good stuff out, and hopefully that people resonate with the real, because this is a real interview. It wasn't no clickbait. We're not trying to get the internet going crazy. We really trying to. I teach kids, so I teach kids your son's age, my son's age, in these schools about podcasting and about. Right now, I'm doing a school in Queens on Guy Brewer Avenue. I'm from the Bronx, and I live in Brooklyn, but I'm teaching in Queens on 134th and Guy Brewer, right near that Mr. Freaky Tie mural on the wall. Right. The school right across the street, and the checkers right there. And that's my first time going out there. The kids are so cool. Right there. And I'm teaching them about the Harlem Renaissance. That's the message. Podcasting, but they're gonna learn about the Harlem Renaissance, and those kids love it. When I went there the first 2 times, they can't wait for me to go back. So for us to be able to give back to our kids is important as Black men. So close it out, Dave.
Again, I want to thank Dayton Thomas for connecting me to you. I just reached out to him as a fan. We went to our listening party, me and my brother Damien, a year ago, and I heard so much fire music. I heard the song with Sheik Luch and the one with Chuck
Rick
D,
Ross,
and I saw the Social Justice, who shot Jamal, and as a fan, I'm like, I like that, but why aren't these on these songs? And the brother Dayton's a good brother. He connected me to you, and I thank you for being here. Consequence, it means a lot to me. I've been a writer. This is my first time doing the podcast, Hip Hop Unpacked. We want to unpack the creativity and what the content is of the artist. So I tell you, on behalf of the Matrix Studio and Hip Hop Unpacked podcast. It's been nice doing business with you.
Please, man. Nice doing business with you as well. And I look forward to more. Peace.
Love it, brother. Thank
you. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Stop this. And then we get some pictures and then we out of here.